Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? I certainly hope that each and every one of you out there is doing just fine. And I'm doing just fine too. I'm certainly glad to be with you again on today. And as always, I appreciate you being with me. It really means a lot. And I definitely want to welcome all of you to another episode of TJ's Topics. Oh, I tell you, and as we move further along into this month of October, as well as the year of 2023, I can truly say that this has been a year of eye-opening events. It really has. And of course, we've seen a lot of things happening in the news with regards to what's going on over in Israel and of course we already know about Ukraine and the mess that's going on in Washington D.C. and everywhere else. I tell you, it is a trip. But let me say something about that. See, we got all these different things going on out here in the world. I mean, on a global scale. There's a lot of stuff going on. But you have a lot of people who see these things happening and they will assume that somehow God is behind it. We hear such phrases as God is in control and everything. Um, but I often wonder sometimes about that. I mean, if it's true that God is in control, it seems like things would be a tad bit different. It seems like there wouldn't be so much violence and so much killing going on and all these wars and different things. I mean, so many people out here starving and stuff. And then think about this. We, as the United States of America, are sending billions and billions of dollars overseas, what seems to be every month almost, to help fund these wars and different things. And yet we have so many people at home right here on this soil who are on the verge of starving, on the verge of losing their homes, being evicted from their apartments, and having their vehicles repossessed and not being able to receive proper health care because they don't have health insurance and stuff, and not being able to take care of their children, like they need to. And I mean, there's a lot of things that I see going on right here in this country that are simply not right. And yet, in church on Sunday, people, we give God praise and we run around and do all the dancing and turn the pews over and stuff. But is that really benefiting the general public? You know, and is God really being glorified in any of that? Because I think about this, and I'm going to get to my subject in just a second. But I can give you an example. Right here in West Memphis, we have a couple of churches. Well, we have more than a couple of churches in West Memphis, but but we got. But in this particular part of town that I'm thinking about, there are about two churches right there on the same street. Both of them have service going on at the same time, and yet there's an apartment complex right across the street from both of those churches, and you have all kinds of things going on over there. Um, maybe a woman being raped, or it may be some dope being sold, somebody getting shot, or it's just all kind of stuff. Folks stealing and breaking in and all that right there in the midst of those two churches while they clapping. But we say God is in control, though. So that leads me to my subject for today, which is God really moving like people say he is? That's the question that I have for you. And I want you to think about that very carefully because I mean it's crazy, how it sounds and the way I explain it. It may sound ridiculous, but I'm for real. This is a serious subject. And I wanted to tackle this because I was thinking about a lot of stuff last night. Well, it was last night from today, and when I'm taping this, it ran across my mind. We say that God is in control, and we say that God is moving, but when you observe things that are happening all around us on a daily basis, whether it's locally, nationally, or internationally, one can't help but to wonder exactly what is going on out here. And is there anybody in control? And that's why I want to ask you, is God moving like people say he is? Because we've heard this phrase all of our lives, ever since we were children, and God is in control. But it's like every time you turn around, we always see something going on that blows our minds, and I mean, it's mind boggling to, turn on the news every day and we witness all these things happening at the speed of light. And then we don't even have to turn on the TV to watch the news. We have the news on our phones and our computers, internet, social media, and all that. So we're bombarded with news pretty much 24 hours a day. And, but God is in control. Well, let's find out exactly what's going on out here. And is there anything that can be done about it? Because I'm curious. I think about a lot of things, and I'm sure you do too. And it really makes you wonder, why is it that when it comes to religion, it's like people have to check their brain at the door, and all logic is left on the outside on the steps. Why is that? So the question, is God really moving like people say he is? Anywhere in the world where people are affiliated with Christianity, one of the most commonly used phrases is God is moving. But exactly what does that moving entail? And to whom does it apply? If God is really moving like people say he is, then why isn't the move more evident? Why isn't there more evidence of this move? If God is really moving, why don't we see more examples? And I'm talking about good examples. There ought to be a major turnaround of things in people's lives, whether it's personally, professionally, socially, economically, and health wise. Physically, mentally. There ought to be like miraculous things going on all throughout this planet if there's really a move of God taking place like they say it is? Is it because people are too busy to notice? You know, do we not see anything pertaining to the move of God happening? Or is it because they claim to be what they claim to be the hand of God is actually the hand of other people? You know, what we call God and God doing this and that, what if it's really people helping other people? People reaching out to people, lending a helping hand, giving generously of their time, their talent, and their treasure. Perhaps that is what the move of God, or what they say is the move of God, really consists of, and it's not some entity in outer space. But I'm gonna let you be the judge of that. After all, everywhere we turn, we see people operating in numerous capacities, carrying out major assignments and fulfilling a wide variety of tasks, all the while not giving much thought, if any thought at all, to any external force or being in the universe. Truth is, a large segment of the human population doesn't practice any form of religion whatsoever. Neither do they subscribe to the idea of some guy in the sky. Yet they work diligently, day in and day out, going about their regular routines, reaching out to those who are in need, both near and far. It is people who serve as the answers to our prayers. It is people who do the giving, the building, the feeding, the sheltering, the educating, the providing of health care, and the elevating. It's people that we see doing these things. You know, we see this all the time. I mean, um, people come to us on any given occasion, and they may offer us sometimes they'll use the word proposition. and that leads into a life-changing opportunity, one that will not only build us up financially, but perhaps expand our our influence, expand the how we reach out, and you know the lives that we can impact. I mean, it's people who do that, and we work together. Everyone has different gifts and talents, and we're on different economic levels as well. Yet we all come together for the common good, and we don't mind sharing whatever we have with whomever we have the opportunity to share. So, could that be the move of God that most Christians refer to, and not some um, being in space that has been defined as God for centuries? One who they say is watching us day and night, whose eyes run to and fro throughout the earth, and one who is evidently waiting on us to mess up so that he can judge us. I mean, what do you think about that? Because when you think about it, most of the judgment that takes place, it takes place right here and right now. People judge each other, and then in some cases, people find themselves going to court being judged by a man sitting on the bench. And they have to face the consequences for their actions. And in Hindu, they refer to it as karma. But in Christianity, in the Bible, it says that whatsoever man sows, that shall he also reap. But it's all the same thing, you know. And the late godfather of soul, James Brown, referred to it as the big payback. And of course, those of us who were raised by black parents, we had a phrase that said, when you do wrong, wrong will follow you. Well, the same thing applies if you do right. Right will follow you. But, I feel like this, and this is, regardless of anyone's ethnicity or nationality or whatever, it's all about the decisions that we make in our lives, the choices that we make. And of course, we all have free will. Of course, that's what they say. They say we have free will. But now, if it's true that we have free will, how come we can't operate in that free will like we want to without the fear of repercussions? See, that's the thing that gets me. But again, they say that God is moving. Well, if he is, shouldn't the war in Ukraine be over with by now? Shouldn't Vladimir Putin be somewhere locked up? Should Hamas have been dealt with? Should they have found the Speaker of the House by now? I mean, these are questions that run across my mind, and I'm sure they run across some of yours as well. But most Christians, they don't like to be challenged in anything, especially when it comes to things pertaining to having common sense. Because as you know, these days, common sense is not so common. So the question remains, is God really moving like people say he is? Or is it just a way to explain what is really happening? And that is, people with good hearts doing good deeds. Perhaps the saying is true. God helps those who help themselves. And that's something that we've heard our entire lives. But a lot of church folk, they believe that we should sit back and do nothing while some external force swoops down and waves a magic wand and works all kinds of miracles and performs all types of magic tricks on our behalf. All the while, we kick back in our easy chair and do nothing but chill and enjoy all the benefits of these miracles and magic tricks. But at the age I am now, and I got another birthday approaching in a few weeks, I no longer feel that way. I don't think that there is a being or an entity in outer space that is performing magic tricks. on our behalf. I believe that anything that we get in life, no matter what it is, it's the result of having made wise choices, having made the right moves at the right time, being in the right place at the right time, and having been seen, heard, and discovered by the right people. That's what I believe at this point. Now, some of you out there may believe differently, or you may still believe that there is an entity in the universe or out there somewhere that is performing these miracles and working these magic tricks and stuff. But, if I had that type of power, I promise you, no one would be starving. No one would be without a job or without any legitimate source of income. No one would be homeless. No one would be without dependable transportation. No one would be incarcerated who had no business being incarcerated. And no one would be in hospital. St. Jude and Le Bonheur and all the children's hospitals in this country would have to go out of business because all these babies out here would be well. Everybody in Africa would be doing good. Everybody over there in the Middle East would be doing very well. And there would be peace everywhere you looked. But I don't have that kind of power. So tell me what you think. Is God really moving like people say he is? Or perhaps is it people who are doing these things, both good and bad, that is causing the world to be the way it is? And do you think that as time goes on, more people will begin to realize what's happening and will perhaps wake up and begin to make better choices, and which will improve their lives and the lives of those who are closely connected to them? So that's what I'm thinking about today, and I hope that I haven't caused any confusion. I definitely hope that I haven't made anybody mad, but if I have, I apologize. I don't apologize for telling the truth or for trying to impart a little knowledge, but I do apologize for all of the years that both you and I have been misinformed, because that's exactly what it was. We didn't have the right information. But we're very grateful to have the information that we're able to obtain now in this time. And that is indeed a blessing. So I just want to thank you very much once again for tuning in to another episode of TJ's Topics. And I really do appreciate you stopping by, as always. And feel free to share it with anybody if you wish. And I'll be grateful for that as well. Thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you again on next time, okay? So until then, this is Taryn Jerome Harris, reminding you that every round goes higher and higher. And I certainly hope that each of your rounds will continue going higher and higher. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.